welcome back to another episode of Breaking Pad Locks. Today we're going to be talking about another low skill method of breaking into a lock, and these are methods like we discussed last time, like bypassing, where it requires very little skill. It's just knowledge of a single mechanism or knowledge of a single tool that you need to use, and boom, you're into a lock. And it's these things that are most scary most of the time, because if it's a high skill attack, then you know that it's already a dedicated attacker who's going to break in either way. But very often when it comes to locks, you just want something that's enough of a deterrence. But if that deterrence can be broken into with very little effort, very little skill, it begins to stop having the same effect, because a decent lock will be able to deter all those who are trying to break in with a brute force attack. It should be able to deter those who don't have high skill in lock picking. But if you can use a simple method like raking, then that system starts to fall apart. So today we're going to be doing a little in-depth talk about raking, which is just an easier version of actually picking a lock. So here we are back with our favorite little master number 3. Another one of these classic locks that you see everywhere that looks much more secure than it actually is. So we're going to get out our rake, and rakes come in very many different shapes, but very often the concept is they have a series of bumps that you use just to jostle the pins into the right location. And there's 2 real methods for raking. You can either do a rocking method or do a sliding in and out method, or a combination of the 2. You're just trying to push the pins up into place. So we've got our lock, and we've got our tension wrench inside it. And this tension wrench, instead of applying a constant tension like we usually do when we're picking, we're just going to kind of apply a loose bouncing tension. We're just going to see if we can get anything working with this pick as we rock it up and down. Let's see. And there we go. It's as simple as that. It took a matter of seconds to get this lock open with a tool that's pretty universal to any lock and required very little skill. It was just jostling around in there. I wasn't doing anything in particular. I was just rocking up and down. I was bouncing a little bit on this tension wrench to make sure that if a pin was pushed up too far, it could fall back down. And it was pretty much random chance that we got this open. And this lock looks secure, as we've talked before. If you see this, you might say, oh, this is going to keep my bike safe, but realistically it won't. It might keep it safe from someone who doesn't have any tools, doesn't even have like clippers to cut the lock. But when it comes down to it, this master lock is going to provide little to no security. It's only an illusion of security that makes someone steal the bike that has no lock rather than the bike that has next to no lock. But then you see you have locks like this. This is an ABUS lockout tagout lock that's used for locking out different pieces of machinery when someone's inspecting it or in a dangerous position. Basically, it's used as a physical security measure to mark something off as like not being used. And it's not used for locking doors. As you can see, the body of the lock is made out of plastic, but it has advanced security pins in it, and we'll talk more about those later. But locks like this, it is possible to rake, but raking them is incredibly difficult as the pins are just designed to not really be easily raked, and a very high skilled picker might be able to rake it open, but it's far easier just to go in and single pin pick this. So you can see there's a difference between these 2 locks, and that's not even just talking about what they're physically made out of. Yes, this is made out of metal and this is made out of plastic, but the actual mechanisms inside these locks, this one is not going to be easily raked open just in a few seconds, but this one is. And even though it looks like this lock is much more secure, and in reality it probably is for keeping a bike out because a brute force attack will be able to get through this pretty quickly, it really comes down to what's inside. And you need to understand that some locks, you need to read up more about them, you need to understand more about them before you use them in any real circumstance, because the security that they really provide is very different from the appeared security just by how they look. Thank you guys for listening to this lesson on raking open locks and about apparent lock security versus actual lock security. I hope you guys all learned a little something and had a great time too. You guys can all check out different locks on your own and with a rake that you maybe bought from one of the links on our page that take you to Sparrows or Amazon or just a bunch of different picks that we recommend as a good entry-level thing. And I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day. See you guys later.